I want to thank the Right to Life League and all of you who support this outstanding organization for your tireless and vital work in protecting the dignity of every person, and particularly the most vulnerable. I am humbled to be recognized with the Life Guardian Award, and while I really desire to be with you in person, unfortunately, I have to extend my thanks to you through this video message. Jennifer asked me to share a brief reflection on how God called me to serve and why the pro-life issue is so important. Growing up, I always had a sense that I wanted to give my life to some kind of a higher purpose, and I wanted to make a positive difference in the world. In my first year of college at San Diego State, I found myself taking my spiritual life more seriously and asking myself what God's plan might be for my life. There was a young priest at my parish whose preaching inspired me, and I saw him as a role model. I finally got up the nerve to talk to him about a vocation, and he recommended that I attend a weekend retreat at the local college seminary. I ended up transferring to the University of San Diego to enter the seminary. Early on in my vocation, I became active in the pro-life movement, praying and witnessing to the dignity of every human life, especially the unborn, and standing with their mothers and families. We know science teaches that human life begins at conception. The ending of life through abortion deeply wounds the woman and destroys the foundation of a just society. Protecting the unborn from abortion is a preeminent priority because it violates the right to life, which is the basis of all other rights. We need to be a voice for the voiceless and the powerless, and there is no one more defenseless than a child in the womb. The voices of faith leaders have been abundantly clear on this issue, and they have always inspired me. One of the most influential Christian leaders of the 20th century, the Reverend Billy Graham, said, "We must never think that we can solve one moral crisis by condoning another, especially the crime of murder, for unrestrained abortion is nothing less than that." He continued, "We have an obligation to show others what God says about living self-controlled lives and being responsible for our moral actions as God defines them." In the words of founder of Saddleback Church, Rick Warren, "The Bible says that all people, not just believers, possess part of the image of God. That is why murder and abortion are wrong." And Presbyterian pastor and theologian R.C. Sproul said, "I am convinced that abortion on demand is evil, is against the law of God, against the laws of nature, and against reason." In my own faith tradition, the popes who have led my church have been clear on the topic of the dignity of human beings at all stages of life. Pope John Paul II defined the emergence of a culture of death and a war of the powerful against the weak. He said that abortion and euthanasia are thus crimes which no human law can claim to legitimize. Perhaps the most graphic and poignant articulation comes from Pope Francis, who said that in the last century, the entire world was scandalized over what the Nazis were doing to maintain the purity of the race. Today, we do the same thing, but with white gloves. He also said, "It is not right to do away with a human being, however small, in order to solve a problem. It is like hiring a hitman." We all have a role to play in ridding our nation and the world of the scourge of abortion, euthanasia, and all the atrocities committed against human dignity. Some, like those of you at this event, have an especially critical role to play. Thank you for your courageous witness. Your bold and steadfast stand in the face of what is often fierce opposition gives courage to others. You are a source of inspiration for me. Thank you for this special recognition, and may God continue to bless you, your families, and all those who support America's first pro-life organization, the Right to Life League, as we work together to build a society that respects and affirms the goodness of every human life.